So every framework, every JavaScript framework it's more or less takes the concept and implements it in their own way.
Okay.
So some are huge, some are specific. So I'll take an example. So Angular is a framework. So whatever it is required to build an application, a web application, so you will get it as a package. But then the learning curve is a bit more steep.
Mm.
React is a library. So it may not have so much features, but then it's extremely focused on certain areas. So it's like you're going to that one little shop that sells the best thing in the town.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want that, don't go to a market, but then just go to that shop.
Right.
Vue is kind of a progressive. So Vue says, okay, if you want to build for smaller applications, I can do that. If you are trying to build for medium to larger also, I can still go ahead and support that. It's just that Angular has the backing of Google, React has the backing of Facebook, but then Vue is still kind of the third option in that space.
Okay,
But
got
then
it.
it's still competing to the top spot.
Right, right. Okay. And these frameworks, they're also primarily focused on the front end, Hari, or
In front end itself, I can say at least half a dozen or a dozen frameworks, but then these three are more or less what is being asked for in terms of a job scenario.
Mhm.
Node.js is something which is still a JavaScript framework, which is used for the backend.
Okay.
I don't say it is a framework, but then still it's built with JavaScript specifically for the backend side. So you can grow into a full stack developer just with JavaScript in both front end as well as the backend.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. And as I mentioned before, Hari, as a recruiter, Angular and React, like these are especially very popular frameworks that from a recruiting standpoint we always hear about. So, like, why are these two frameworks in particular building up so much popularity?
Like I'm from the points which I've just told on the previous question,
Mm.
I had continue on that.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Angular and React both stems from JavaScript. So JavaScript is the father of these frameworks.
Okay.
It's just that they take one concept called single page application and they give it their own spin. So
Mm.
Angular says I'm heavily opinionated. So I'll say things and you should write the things like I says.
Yeah.
Then only I'll work. So I'm going to give you a lot of rules. So one good thing is that maybe you're an experienced developer or maybe a newbie, both has to adhere to these rules to write proper code.
Okay.
So, but then from a React's perspective, React says, I'm all JavaScript. I'm giving you the freedom to write the code in a way which you want.
Mm.
But then there are not much rules to follow. So if you are trying to scale up in this language or in this so-called framework, it becomes a bit more easier when compared to Angular.
Okay.
So from a company's perspective, it becomes quite attractive to hire on these two languages.
Mm-hmm.
Since there is a lot of community support, there is a lot of features being added from Google as well as Facebook to these frameworks. These frameworks are here to stay. So
Okay.
you can be quite sure that okay, this is not going to die in the next 2 years or 3 years. This is going to evolve, but it's not going to get sidelined.